Hello, Scrollgers. Smokin here with another episode of Scrollscast. This is from the ESL tournament on Sunday between Donkey74 and MOpyc. And we have a growth versus growth showdown. My goal for this cast was not to have a growth versus growth, but everybody's playing growth at this point, so it's hard not to do that. Neither player had a Vader of the Wild on turn 1, and in fact Donkey74, one of the best players in the game, unfortunately doesn't have a 2-drop either for his build, or at least for his opening hand. MOpyc does. He has the classic Kinfolk Brave on 2. Donkey74 now looking to respond. He will have Nognest now, and he can follow that up with Ragged Wolf if he wants, but probably won't, and in fact doesn't. Plays the Nognest down. MOpyc now has to decide if he wants to move down and try to challenge the Nognest. He does go ahead and stagheart his Brave. Not something you do against all factions, but against growth, especially before they have Kinfolk veteran resources. That is a very fine play. We do see Ragged Wolf Crimson, though, coming down to counter that, so that is going to shift the advantage pretty strongly in Donkey74's favor. MOpyc will now need to find a way to recover from that loss of 2 cards early, and he has that option in hand already. We can see from his hand actually with the Rat King, Frostgale, Fertile Soil, he's playing more of a mid-range or late-game growth build, and he will next turn almost certainly Fertile Soil one of these rats. Donkey74 playing what looks to be at least more of an early game to mid-range build, but it's still too early to tell exactly based on what we've seen so far. We do see the Nognest, which isn't typically used in pure ag growth versions. MOpyc confirming for us his late game build with Sister of the Owl. The Nognest pops, Wetland Ranger and Ragged Wolf are ready to attack. Note the Culling the Flock in Donkey's hand. That's going to give him some options for sudden victory later in the game. He does pitch it for now, but later on if he can draw another one, that will be pretty important. Earthborn Mystic comes down, and then his Ragged Wolf and Wetland Ranger come in for 2 quick damage and a buff to all of these units. MOpyc looking to respond on 5 resources currently, ready to go up to 6. He is way behind on board, so he's going to hold on to that Frostgale and potentially try to do a Frostgale Quake combo later. But he does go ahead and lead out with Sister of the Owl on 6 and gets a couple of rat attacks in. The Owl spawned up instead of down, which is pretty important. Earthen Mirth in hand for Donkey. He is choosing between that and the Great Wolf this turn, I believe. He does choose the Great Wolf. Still nobody going straight for the middle idol. Both are sort of eyeing each other angrily across the no man's land that is the middle row. Donkey strong to the bottom, MOpyc strong to the top. MOpyc sacrifices for Scrolls, has Brother and Brave in hand. He does choose instead to Fertile Soil that Owl, getting rid of it and drawing into a Quake and 2 Rallyings. So he starts off with a Frostgale this turn, setting up for next turn now, where he will be able to do another Frostgale into a Quake and clear everything but the Great Wolf. Donkey74, since his opponent led out with that with the Frostgale and moved the rats to the middle, can clearly see this coming. So he'll now have to decide what he wants to do with his units. He's probably not going to want to use the Earthborn Mystic's ability. He may not anticipate both the Quake and the Frostgale next turn, and so he would want to keep the Earthborn Mystic's health at 3 if at all possible. Otherwise, you would almost always take the Scroll in this situation. He may choose to lead out with a Crimson Bull and just deal a ton of idle damage, or he may play out the Great Wolf because that is safe from most of the damage from the Quake. And he does play the Great Wolf, gets the units coming in, deals some idle damage, takes out the rats that were going to die anyway, and does keep his Mystic on 3 health intelligently. MOpyc, though, does have the Frostgale and the Quake, so he'll be able to take out everything that has 3 or less health. There's the Quake, there's the Frostgale, the Sister survives, 2 Great Wolves survive for Donkey74, so he still has the advantage on board even after MOpyc invested all those cards. Donkey finds Rallying and Earthen Mirth off that sacrifice. Only 1 creature to play out, though, which is unfortunate for him. It's just a Nog. So MOpyc catches a little bit of a break there. If Donkey would have had 2 units to play out, that would have been a much stronger turn for him, able to repopulate the board quickly, but instead just Nog go is not very impressive. He does shift his Great Wolf down to deal extra idle damage, but the downside is that the Great Wolf is now vulnerable to MOpyc's Ragged Wolves or Kinfolk Veterans or anything else he might be able to play out. Let's see if he can draw one. He does find a veteran, so he has some options here. Let's see. He chooses Rat King instead, so he's going to give that Great Wolf a break and let it survive temporarily. On 3 resources now, he'll play out a Kinfolk Brave probably to up top here. Oh, interesting. He actually played it to the middle, so the Great Wolf can get in there and kill both of the rat and the Kinfolk Brave. Very interesting placement there. I'm wondering if he was just trying to make it so the Great Wolf has to move into Sister of the Owl range, but that's just so risky with, I mean, any sort of Ragged Wolf or haste play would take that out. Donkey doesn't have that haste. He does have Brave Nognest, might be the play here, or Brother of the Wolf. Of course, he could Earthen Mirth on that Great Wolf, but he's not going to do that. I want to see him shift the Nog up as well. He does play that Nog Nest, keeps the Nog in place, and that actually worked out well because now he's guarding the Brave and the Great Wolf. The attacking Great Wolf takes out the Kinfolk Brave of MOpyc, who now shifts his Sister the Owl down. Is he going to God Hand here, or the Ghetto God Hand with the Rally Crimson Bull? He indeed does. So he set that up on purpose, the Sacrificial Brave, to set himself up for this play where he's able to take out those units. Donkey74 is going to easily be able to respond, though, and get the board cleared just with what he has on board. So now we want to see if he can find something else to populate. He does find a Brother of the Wolf. So we'll see the Great Wolf move up to take out the Owl and the Rat. The Brother of the Wolf played probably in the middle, I would guess, and he does play it middle up. And then the Kinfolk Brave will take down the Beast Rat in the 4th row of MOpyc and continue Donkey's domination of the board here. Though it is a little bit more vulnerable than it was in the past. Just one more Quake will be enough, I think, for MOpyc to finish this, or not finish the comeback, but to claw all the way back into the game. MOpyc has hasn't lost any idols yet, but it does have 2 on very low health, but 3 completely healthy ones that he could set up his defense around. Sister of the Fox comes in, finds another veteran, pitches them, has a Frost Gale to set himself up for next turn probably, because we're going to see that veteran come down to take out the Kinfolk Brave, and it indeed does so. Donkey74 has Nognest again. That's the 3rd one in the top half of his deck. I want to see him go up to 6 resources here. He does. So now he does shift the Great Wolf and the Brother of the Wolf up away from the bulk of MOpyc's attack, and that Kinfolk veteran plays the Nognest and the Brother of the Wolf. So now we've seen earlier MOpyc had the top, Donkey had the bottom. Now it is shifted. Donkey has the top, MOpyc holding on to the middle and the bottom. Quake in hand, though. And we do see the Quake come down. It doesn't clear the board, but it does take out the biggest threat, that Great Wolf. Ragged Wolf still in hand. I wouldn't have minded seeing that come down to hit the Nognest and go ahead and take that out, but it's probably not critical to do that right away. Triple Rallying in hand for Donkey. That's unfortunate. He can't do a ton with that. Though I wouldn't have actually minded seeing a rally play there just to trigger the Nognest, but he does go ahead and play out a Terran Brute. Ragged Wolf moves over. A second Ragged Wolf comes down to finish off that idol. Brothers moved behind the nest for defense, and now that Brute is set to be able to attack next turn if Donkey can play any creature, and I think he will. Frostgale does come in, as well as a Ragged Wolf, so that will take out that Brother, and then Kinfolk Brave, our veteran, behind that, so all that haste comes in and clears out the strength of Donkey's army. So the Brute is actually not going to be able to attack unless 2 creatures are played, or of course rallying. And we do see Nog and Ragged Wolf, so this will be interesting. He probably won't want to play both. Donkey probably won't want to play both because he doesn't want to trigger that attack for the Brute yet. He'd rather save it for next turn almost certainly. So we might just see the Nog come down with plans to, and then shifting up to the middle with plans to Ragged Wolf next turn. Actually, he goes ahead and Ragged Wolfs and then Earthen Mirth, so he's just going straight for that idol. 5 straight damage. He did decide not to play 2 creatures for the reason I mentioned, but he's threatening lethal next turn. MOpyc now has to defend these idols. They are not dead on board, but they're all but dead on board. We see Sister of the Fox come down. In a conservative position, it'll move to block one of the idols by the end of the round. Ragged Wolf and then Sister of the Owl is the other play, and the Sister comes down to defend the weakest idol. And actually, the Sister of the Fox stays in the 4th lane. I'm surprised by that. Donkey probably can't find lethal this round, but with that Kinfolk veteran and all this attack coming in, it can do some serious work. He can do some serious work. Hasn't sacrificed yet. He could pitch the rallying for resources to Nog veteran, and then he's kind of in a difficult situation. Another Ragged Wolf would be really nice here. He actually pitches the veteran. He's going to rally Nog. He's going to rally Nog here. So what that means is he's going to maybe drop the Nog. Oh, it's tough to know for sure. He's got to choose between killing the veteran and killing the sister of the owl. He can't do both. Just one. The Nog's going to be played on one of these lanes, and that will determine which one of these two back units will perish. He chooses the Kinfolk Veteran. Okay, so he's okay leaving the sister up because it's not about to attack. There's that rally. Does go ahead and shift down to kill the owl. Gets in, takes out the veteran, and then goes ahead and takes the middle idol to 1 health. MOpyc has a God Hand ready to go. Shifts up. Is he going to go ahead and God Hand? He would like to have a 1-cost unit to play in the middle to take out all 3 of these. So he decides to wait, and I think that's the right decision. And then he goes ahead and stag hearts the Ragged Wolf in back, trying to make it a more threatening creature. Donkey, finds Culling the Flock. I don't think Culling Rally wins the game. I'm desperately looking. He can deal a ton of damage, but I don't think he can win the game with it. I think he can get 9 on that top idol, but he'd still have to find a way to finish off 2. So really kind of strong cards, but unfortunate that those are his 3. He can play the Wetland Ranger, which is nice, but MOpyc might see himself coming back after this. We'll see the Wetland Ranger probably played front middle, I would imagine. But with that God Hand in MOpyc's hand, that's going to come crashing through, and if not take everything out, get pretty darn close to it. MOpyc might be way up on board after that play. Donkey doesn't know about the God Hand necessarily, but certainly must be suspecting something like that, some sort of big play. His opponent's on 9 resources, only 1 scroll in hand, but he's gone through most of his deck, so that 1 scroll is probably going to be whatever he considers most important. We do see the Wetland Ranger played in front, and then he shifts up away from the middle, which I'm fine with that play. And then MOpyc, I would have liked to see the Ragged Wolf go up 1, but it's not critical. Does go ahead and play that God Hand, and he's not going to get all the units. He, again, couldn't find the 1 drop to do it. The Brute survives, and will now have to try to win the game on his own. Rallying is sacrificed. And then we have Brave and Wolf. There's a Wetland Ranger that comes down. Brave will come down probably behind and trigger that Brute to take out the Kinfolk Veteran. So Donkey is able to rebuild pretty well. MOpyc now still needs to... He's not ahead necessarily, but has potential to be ahead. He actually goes up to 10 to play double Great Wolf. So he has clearly solidified the middle row. Actually moves away from the middle row. A little bit risky. Just a little bit risky. It's unlikely that Donkey74 can break through to take out one of these 10 health idols, but just a touch risky, and he does that in case he draws a Mangy Wolf, Rallying, or God Hand next turn. Those Great Wolves will take out anything that Donkey74 can play. And looking at Donkey's hand, he is going to go ahead and finish off that middle idol, put himself in position to win if he can get through at all using that Culling Flock Crimson Bull combo. If he has any open idols, he can just win out of nowhere with all that. One needs to get the Striped Fangbear down as well to assist with that. Thinking about his other placements, he does play this Fangbear down with a Brave underneath and behind it. Brave is vulnerable to take out that sister of the owl of the fox. MOpyc finds no countdown reduction. Ragged Wolf and Brother the Wolf are the options to play, and he'll play both. Brother played down to the bottom to solidify the bottom row, and actually no, he goes ahead and takes out the Striped Fangbear. So again, a touch risky. He gets that card advantage, but only 1 unit defending his low health idol. If Donkey74 has something to get through, MOpyc did position so Rumble is a little less likely. Well, actually, I don't think Donkey74 has Rumble, but if he did, it would be pretty risky. But look at this. Oh, he's just a touch short. Kinfolk Veteran Crimson Bull would have done it if he had 8 resources. He's only on 7, though. Ragged Wolf Crimson Bull would definitely have done it. That would have been 5 and 3 to finish it off. So MOpyc's gamble pays off. Donkey is unable to find the last bit of card he needs to break through. Does go ahead and just load the board up, lets his Brute get in and kill the Great Wolf, which is a pretty big score, actually. MOpyc did leave that Great Wolf undefended, and able to deal quite a bit of damage, loading up on the bottom now. MOpyc finds that rally, but it's a touch too late. He can go ahead and use it, but it's pretty risky. Pitches it and finds Rat King Vengeful Vader, which the Rat King is nice for just the blocking, but the Vengeful Vader is not particularly useful right now. Goes ahead and plays it up to defend his Great Wolf, actually who ends up moving down to take out the middle row. And MOpyc has done quite a bit of damage, so Donkey has to be careful if he is not able to break through quickly, and he's not going to be able to with 3 guys defending this bottom row. MOpyc can just kind of win with a God Hand. So Donkey needs to think about that and play defensively a little bit. Shifts the Brute up, shifts the Wetland Ranger down. Are we going to see Crimson? No, we see Veteran here, so that won't take out the Sister of the Owl, whose high health has been pretty useful all game long. But does take out a couple of units. MOpyc finds a Veteran who he'll have to sacrifice, unfortunately. Picks up a Frostgale and a Brother of the Wolf. Shifts his Rats and Wolves down. Brother played up front to defend, and just continues to let those units attack. Does have 1 vulnerable idol, but Donkey's nowhere near it. Will have a hard time getting there. Finds Earthen Mirth. If Donkey had a Relentless unit, he could probably pull this off with a double Earthen Mirth combo, but without that Relentless unit, he's forced to just kind of continue crashing in over and over again. He may Earthen Mirth on the Wetland Ranger to take out that Great Wolf. Alternatively, we do see Crimson Bull. All sorts of options here. There's so many things he could do. That Brother or the Fang Bear coming down triggers that Terrain Brute. And if he just shifts one of these units up, he chose the Wetland Ranger, he can take out that Great Wolf, and he does. So we're going to see 4 units perish of MOpyc's here. Donkey crashes in. This has been an excellent game so far. I'm really excited to see what ends up happening here. Frostgale is kept. The Brave is sacrificed. Fertile Soil is the choice. He draws into another Sister of the Owl. And luckily that Owl came at a good spot where it could shift up and defend the Sisters. Donkey still trying to break through on his 2nd deck cycle now. I mean, it's just so hard to break through 1 row here. So I kind of want to see him shift one of his units up to put pressure up top here. But it looks like he's going to continue just pushing in on this bottom row and just force his way through. He is set up next turn with a Relentless Striped Fang Bear on top of everything else, which he will be able to enchant off the Earthborn Mystic. So that's going to be really tough for MOpyc to be able to stop. God Hand is nice. Oh, if he had 1 more resource on 12, he could do Rat King God Hand and maybe get some serious damage in. But really, most of Donkey's units have 4 health, so even the God Hand with the weenies wouldn't necessarily break through. We do see Great Wolf. We'll see Rat King as well. So if MOpyc can just survive a round without losing everything, he can come back strong with that God Hand, but that's probably asking just a little too much. He does enchant his Great Wolf, trying everything he can to make it survive on 6 health here. Donkey has Rallying in the Brute. I think he'll pitch the Brute, see what else he draws. Note that the Mystic will have to die, sacrifice itself to pull an Earthen Mirth enchantment for that Fang Bear. We might see that anyway. Oh, this is so interesting. He's on 8. He could sack the Brute for resources, and I was going to say that gives him Rallying and then enchantment resources, so that would be it would kill a ton of stuff, but I don't think it would win the game. Unfortunate draws, just the Brave and the Rallying. This is where it would be helpful to have some stuff up here, then he would have a little bit more reach. We do see that Wetland Ranger shift. Currently with the Fang Bear down, I think 1, 4, yes, that's enough to wipe the bottom row, just with what he's got there. He doesn't need to enchant it anymore. So he can leave the Mystic up to kill off one of these rats. And then maybe just drop the Brave, and then he could rally if he wants. He doesn't have to, but he might as well get that kill. So he's going to deal some idle damage and take out everything that MOpyc has. So lots of options that play. Donkey74 is able to think through everything he did that turn was so critical. Every positioning, every movement, all had to be in perfect sequence to pull that play off, and he was able to see it, think all those moves ahead. MOpyc responds with double Frostgale, doesn't have another Quake, so he is just loading up on the bottom idle again, just loading up, desperately trying. He's got that God hand, desperately trying not to just lose. Donkey74 has another rallying, which I think he needs to pitch the bear, and he finds a 3-cost unit. That's key, because now he can play the Brute, rally, then play the Brother of the Wolf, and the ability on the Brother of the Wolf, and that gets that back of Brute to count down. I think that's going to be just enough. Well, is it? 1, 5, and no, that still won't break through. It still won't break through. So instead we just see, instead of the rally play, he loads up the bottom row, still putting that pressure on with the Fang Bear, but now he's shifted up top. So now MOpyc has to think about both the top 2 idols and the bottom idol. Wow, that was an awful draw. That was really bad. Brother of the Wolf Go is not great here. I guess he can rallying, and he might as well, which isn't awful, but taking out 2 units here is helpful, but not enough. He really, I think, just wanted to put more stuff down. Donkey now has rally culling, so can he win off of that? I think he can. I think that's going to be it. He culling the flocks, pumps both of these units, then rallies to get that countdown, shifts up, and crashes in for the victory. He finds it. Holy cow. He had to work for that. Well done, Donkey74, and it came down to the culling the flock like I hoped it would from the beginning. Excellent growth versus growth showdown. More of an aggro growth versus a late game growth. Both players played well. Donkey74 just technically proficient is how I would describe that play. This has been Smogan with Scrollscast. Check out more on the Badger Guild YouTube channel. About 45 or so of these videos up for YouTube view. Thank you for watching.